So we're back. So post, cool. So we're back into what we're talking about. So talking about fat loss and keeping heart rate around 130 beats per minute. So why would we be looking to keep our heart rate around 130 to 140 beats per minute in a fat loss phase? Reason we'd be looking to do that is once we go above that, we're going very much into our anaerobic threshold where our ability to burn fat to be compromised, and we're looking a lot more likely to be causing muscle tissue damage in terms of losing our breaking down muscle tissue rather than fat. So our primary goal in terms of fat loss, we would want to be trying to sit around 120 to 140 beats per minute. 130 is generally the sweet spot. Obviously, the fitter you get, the more difficult it's going to be to get your heart rate up to that. So as you lose body fat and your body adapts to the training you're doing, you'll find that you get fitter and you will have to probably push yourself harder to get the same equivalent response from your body in terms of a heart rate perspective. We'll go into the next question. Would it be worth me doing a level 2, level 3 fitness course to get the knowledge for your own training? 100%. So if training is something you're passionate about, learning and more about it, which is something that I'm very passionate about, teaching other people is incredibly important, and that will help you to level up a lot more from there. So 100%, if you're serious about your fitness journey, the more you learn, the faster you will progress. Next question, how much glutamine intra-workout do I take? So I take 20 grams of glutamine intra-workout. Why would you use glutamine? So glutamine, if you don't know, is a amino acid. I recommend using 20 grams, and there's a couple of reasons for this. So glutamine actually helps in healing the gut, and it can also help in terms of your immune system. So those are two things I would be saying. Things a lot of people don't think about in terms of burning body fat and building muscle are very important. So glutamine is highly effective and it's cheap. So I use 20 grams I drink during my training session with carbohydrates, creatine and amino acids for optimal performance. Yo from Australia, Michela, hope you're well. Question, I'm 16 and my coach is asking me to take supplements. Should I take it or not? Depends what your supplement is. If they're telling you to take testosterone, then no. If they're telling you to take whey protein and creatine, then there's no issue with that. But the question is, if you have to ask someone for permission to do something, you probably shouldn't be doing it. It's a way to think about it. Let's have a look at what other questions we have. Next question. Okay. Is there a rule or best way when we design a giant set chest, for example, chest workout for chest, for example? Giant sets, I think, are bullshit, if I'm honest with you. This is a controversial subject, so we're going to sit here and talk about this. So, in-person personal trainers, the most common thing and mistake I see and why people don't get results is they'll go to a personal trainer and they'll have training sessions, and the in-person personal trainer will just smash them to death with circuits and stuff like that. So doing giant sets, supersets, really high volume, really quick, no rest periods. Why? Because they can get you in and out and just smash you in 40 minutes. That's not necessarily the best way to build muscle, burn body fat. My one point to everyone would be to learn to think for yourself and sometimes question why you're doing something. Train with Shane, I found better results on creatine than when I took testosterone. That's an interesting fact. Let's have a look. Some ridiculous questions here. Okay, how do you keep fit without forgetting to exercise? Make it part of your lifestyle. Like, that's the reality in terms of you achieving this is having it as part of your lifestyle. So then this isn't something you have to stick to. Can bodybuilding be done on a pescatarian diet? 100%. Is walking actually effective for weight loss, as we've all been walking consistently every day with no results for a long while? Yes, walking is 100%. The reason you're not losing weight, Jessica, is not just because of walking. The reason you're losing weight is because you're eating too much, to be honest with you, or you're not walking enough. So when it comes to fat loss, we have to look at this is simple thermodynamics in terms of net energy balance. So we want to have more calories going out than calories coming in. So if you have, if you're walking an extra 3,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 steps a day, but you're eating an extra 500 calories because you're going for a walk, then it's a zero-sum game. So realistically, I would suggest you focus on your nutrition and get that dialed in, and you will see the progress you're probably looking for. let's have a look. So I saw Michaela commented. If you ask in the questions section, I can answer the questions for you. I'm Miss Australia International State Finalist. That's pretty sick. I need to tone up and I want to get skinnier. I have a heart condition, so really can't get my heart racing. What do you think I should do to build muscle? So basically what I was saying, that's very specific in terms of your nutrition needs to be fucking nailed down. So if you're competing, Michela, sorry to pronounce your name, to want to be a Miss Australia finalist, then you need to have your shit in gear and have your nutrition dialed down, because that's the number one thing that's going to overrule everything, more so than training. So if you want any help with that, drop me a direct message, and then I'd love to try and explain a little bit more about how we can help you with that. But it's a very specific case, and if you're at an elite level, you're going to need that help even more. Let's have a look. Some other good questions. Do I do all of my sets for failure? Ollie Bartholomew, the goat. The goat emoji is good. I like that. Ollie, if you drop the goat emoji on my latest IG reel, because I think it's pretty legit, because it just shows some bullshit on there. Do I do all of my sets to failure? Yes. This is very, very important. This is a brilliant question. So when we think about building muscle and burning body fat, we have to talk about building muscle. We want to create an adaptive response from our bodies. We're trying to take our body and our muscle to go and do something it's never done before, or something it doesn't necessarily want to do. So we're going to push our muscle basically to complete failure, to the point where it's like, holy shit, like that was hard. To the point where you get the bench stuck and you need someone to spot you, basically. You want to go to complete failure, you can't move the weight anymore. And what happens from that in layman's terms is your body will have an adaptive response where the muscle tissue will be broken down from training, and the response is it will make the muscle tissues thicker, bigger and stronger, so that when it's next put under that stress again, it can handle it. That is basically the muscle building 101 in basics. So if you take a muscle to complete failure, as hard and far and as deep as you can go into a set, you will create more muscle damage, and you will create more of a responsive requirement for that muscle, which will help you to build more muscle tissue. And also, if you have fucking kick-ass hard workouts, I can guarantee you won't put on body fat. I'm currently eating, today I'm trying to eat 800 grams of carbohydrates. It is incredibly difficult to get fat when you train really, really hard and you have to train properly. So anyone who knows my background, I used to be overweight when I was younger, so that's why I've become very driven on this respect of teaching people. Anyone who's asking, yeah, I appreciate that, Ollie, it's very kind. Question, can you work smaller muscle groups 5 days a week if the muscle doesn't feel sore? Example, biceps. I wouldn't suggest training a muscle group every 5 days a week. The only ones I'd suggest you could train at higher frequency would be abs and calves, because they're just the way they're designed. But I wouldn't recommend that you train biceps or something like that every day. It's not a great idea, if I'm honest with you. Someone's asked, do I smoke weed? No. It might help chill me out, actually, so maybe I should do. Do you have to consume protein of 1.6 grams per pound per body weight for weight loss? No. So I recommend that you have a minimum of 1 gram per pound of body weight for most people generally. So 1.6 is probably a bit on the high side. A good substitute for Whitworth's ground rice. It's a tongue twister. I would check out the delicious Alchemy rice flakes if you're in the UK, cream of rice if you're in the US, cream of rice if you're in the UK. I have no affiliation to Trained by JP, but their cream of rice is phenomenal. 800 grams of carbohydrates a day. A lot of it has been from that, so that's something I'd highly recommend. See some next questions. Please explain Golgi tendon and muscle spindles. It's probably a bit in depth for this IG live. What's my take on intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting isn't the optimal way to lose body fat. Twofold. The two reasons why I would say that. Number one, where most people go back to eating, say you don't eat until dinner, most people go in on dinner and then they'll overeat, they eat probably junk food, their digestion goes to shit, the body doesn't assimilate the nutrients they want to be taking. Just don't do intermittent fasting. It's not something I recommend. You lose weight from intermittent fasting because you're not eating for half the day. You're creating calorie deficit. Whereas if you actually just structured your food a little bit better and you're in a calorie deficit, you'd lose more weight and you wouldn't have to starve yourself. Should I wear gloves when working out? No, I think it's pushing out a little bit, if I'm honest. How old am I? Drop a comment, how old am I? And then I'll come back to that. Someone said I want to lose fat and gain muscle this summer. That's very much what I specialise in. What you want to be doing if you want to build muscle and lose body fat is you want to have a metabolic priming approach, is where we build nutrition programs for clients. So that's very much what you want to focus on doing, having carbohydrates around the workouts, rest of the day probably mainly protein and fats. And you want to have your workouts so they're in a progressive manner and you're training your body parts at a high frequency, lower volume. That is the optimal way to do it in essence. If you want any help with that, drop me a message and I can try and explain it a little bit further. If you just drop me a message, the word shredded, we can help. Can you mix protein, creatine together in one shake? Yes, you can, no issue with that. Is insulin spike a big deal for shredding? You want to spike your insulin post-workout and around the workout window, which is why I just recommended on our coaching programs and the diets I could use myself and for clients. We take a metabolic priming approach in terms of having high amounts of carbohydrates around the workout to spike our insulin. Can you do abs every day? Yes. Yeah, I've been called up. Motherfucker, someone said I was 36. That's not cool in any essence. Yes, Michelle, if you drop me a message, I can help you. That's probably a better answer for you in that one. I think there's quite a lot you probably need help with your competition and stuff. Someone's saying if I smoke pot after training, I'll gain 12 kilos of muscle. I somehow think that's not correct. What keeps you motivated to be the best version of yourself? That is a very good question. Fear of failure, of the day you die, you meet the person you could have become. Have a think about that. So the day you die, you meet the person you could have become. So very much about maximising your potential of who you can be. And I'm also on a mission where I want to try and inspire, and I want to transform 1 million lives in my career. Are you actually in your 30s? Yes, I'm 31. Although I don't look it, I look youthful. Let's go to the next question. Can you use glucose powder during workouts? Yes, so I'd recommend, this is a good subject, so talk about metabolic priming diets in terms of nutrition. One of the things we recommend highly is an intra-workout shake. So we will use, in this intra-workout shake, we will use creatine, carbohydrates normally in the form of cyclic dextrin or dextrose, and then we would also use essential amino acids, glutamine. Those are the magic combos within an intra-workout I would highly recommend. Let's have a look. So, question. In a 4-day-a-week training split, 1 day rest between two, when is the best time to do some static cycling? So you're going to train 4 days a week, I presume Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday. I would probably do some cycling at the weekend or on Wednesday, which would be the rest day. Very, very simple. So look. Do I watch any television series? Trying to find some good ones on Netflix. So if anyone knows any good ones, drop some in the comments below. Since last year, we have done Ozarks, Peaky Blinders, the thing with the mask where they rob the bank. I can't remember. Pretty much all the good ones you would have expected. So anything there. In terms of recommended protein powders, check out Muscle Nation Weight Isolate. Use the code Charlie will give you, CJ10 gives you 10% off. The best one is a chocolate honeycomb, it's legit. My favourite men's perfume, I don't wear perfume, I wear aftershave, but I would highly suggest, my day-to-day, the GOAT is the Tom Ford Black Orchid. So if anyone wants to buy me an early birthday present, I would highly recommend that. Do I think growing muscle is proportional to the weight used in the exercise, which method used? I think it makes no difference necessarily. The amount of muscle you grow is not proportional to the amount of weight you lift. It's about the amount of tension you put through the muscle and how you actually move the weight. I could move, for example, on a bench press 100 kilos very quickly, not really use my chest, or I could use 100 kilos very slowly and massively recruit my chest. Shane, prep for a photo shoot, and I find I have a really bad relationship with food, eating poorly, lacking motivation, and feeling down. So Shane, this is one of the big key points that we go through with clients in the 4 phases of training we teach, and that's essentially not leaving you in the lurch. So we go the primary phase, dieting phase, reverse dieting phase, and the performance phase. Where you've been thrown out in the dark is in the reverse dieting phase, which is after a show, is how to manipulate the body so you can increase calories and carbohydrates upwards whilst maintaining body condition and getting everything back in gear. So I ended my diet in December on 200 grams of carbs a day. I am now mid-May on 800 grams of carbs a day. Obviously, I have added some body weight and I am quote-unquote bulking. However, I still have abs. So it's just proof of the pudding that can be done. That's something I'd highly recommend. If you want help with that, Shane, just drop me a direct message and we can jump on a call and sort that out. Let's have a look. Refeed or a cheat meal when bulking every 14 days. No one needs a cheat meal for a start because that creates a bad relationship with food, like Shane was talking about. Secondly, refeeds, you don't need to refeed if you're bulking anyway because you're pretty much fed. So if you need to refeed, you need to increase the calories in your diet. So basically no on both of those. Makes absolutely no logical sense. Looks like you're trying to find an excuse to eat like a dick, to be honest. Let's have a look. Any other questions? What's the best way to bulk? Not put on a lot of fat. That's it. I think it's decent questions. Okay, here's a good one. Is HIIT important to get lean? HIIT is very helpful in terms of a few situations. I actually don't really rate it in terms of fat loss. However, I do HIIT twice a week on the rest days. Why do I do this? Point number 1, increases insulin sensitivity, which means your body can shuttle nutrients into muscle tissue better. Very, very important. Number 2, it has a huge influence on blood pressure, which is very, very important. So we're focusing on HIIT, obviously taking our heart rate as high as we can, bring it back down, high as we can, bring it back down. It's great for the cardiovascular system, very, very important. Thirdly, our aerobic system in terms of HIIT training, you're going to be able to improve your aerobic threshold and also your lactic threshold in terms of the amount of lactic acid, say, your legs can take. Therefore, you'll be able to train harder, which means you get to better results, which is obviously in your workouts, which is what we want, because performance drives building muscle and burning body fat. I'm going to answer one more question and then we're going to wrap this up. So I'm going to let someone jump on IG. And you're rude, you told me I was fat. I didn't say anyone was fat. Okay, can anyone drop a question in here which is helpful and insightful and any good ones? I'm going to ask. First, Fit Hub Reigate gang. What is the Fit Hub Reigate gang? I have no idea. Okay, I can't develop my chest. That's a good question. So everything else is coming on nicely. Any advice? So number 1 reason people can't develop their chest. Here's a better way to put this. If you can grow muscle tissue, and you can grow muscle tissue anywhere in your body, you have the genetic ability to build muscle. So that therefore means that your ability to not develop your chest is because your execution and form is shit. So 2 very simple tactics for this. 1, I would suggest massively slowing down your reps. So probably literally get a stopwatch out, 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up. That will force you to be very aware of what you're doing in terms of what muscles you're using. Secondly, a big mistake a lot of people make, say they're doing presses with their chest, they roll in. So they're trapped roll forward, they let their sternum drop down. So think about keeping your chest elevated, your sternum up, your abs braced and your abs locked. That is my final tip for today's Q&A. One more question, how many carbs per body weight for shredding? Completely depends on you. I have absolutely no idea about you, your goals, your body weight, how hard you train, how lean you are. Everything in terms of macros, protein, fats, carbs, calories is specific to the individual. If you want help with your own fitness journey, drop me a DM with a message shredded and I'll come back to you in terms of how I can help you. Monday is done, time for a killer, rest a few days. Anyone need help, drop me a message and would love to help you on your own fitness journey to the summer.